Right, so Joao Felix has signed for Chelsea. He's rejoined them because he was on loan, wasn't he, a year and a half ago. So he's rejoined Chelsea. I liked him as well. When he was at Chelsea, he wasn't the most consistent, but I felt in a Chelsea team that was in disarray, I thought there were some decent performances from him. He seems like the type of guy that can play in the 10, he can play on the wing, he can play up front as a false 9. It's a no-brainer for Chelsea. Remember, they're getting rid of Conor Gallagher, they're bringing in Dewsbury Hall, Joao Felix and Pedro Neto. Whether people like it or not that they're signing too many players, he does make them better. He does. And the versatility of where he can play. I think Chelsea are looking for one more striker. So that probably tells you all you need to know, that he's probably not going to be playing up front. But he can play anywhere. So it's a very good signing for Chelsea. But I do think 44 million is quite steep, considering this guy is not the most consistent. But he's still a very good addition, and I still will maintain what I've been saying since day one. I still think Chelsea will finish in the top 4 this season. I just think they've got too many players at the moment, and they obviously need to trim that. They need to trim that squad down. But I look at it, could you imagine a team with Lavia and Caicedo, Felix, maybe Mudryk on the left, Pedro Neto on the right. Oh no, actually Cole Palmer in the 10, Felix on the left. And then Pedro Neto on the right, and Nkunku or Jackson up front, or a possible striker coming in. Loads of options for Chelsea, but the likes of Sterling, the likes of... they've bought so many players, you forget who they've got at the club. Sterling obviously needs to go. He's one of them. The likes of Broja, he's looking likely to leave. They got a lot of players, but they've got a lot of players they need to trim. It's even confusing me. They've got so many players there. They have to trim that down. Sterling is definitely one of them. Lukaku's definitely one of them. But he is a good player. And if they could bring in like an Osimhen as well, they could be a completely different side this year. But yeah, it's the actual signing itself is good. But again, Chelsea will need to now clear the squad. They have to, because there's too many players there. But I feel like the signings themselves, like even Dewsbury Hall, I think was a good signing. But they need to trim it down to make sure they've got space for those guys. And because if you've got too many players in one team and squad, it just creates a lot of disruption. Because like that Sterling thing, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like when he made that statement, it's things like that. Players are just gonna make statements like that. And that Sterling statement was like a "do you know who I am" kind of statement. It was like, excuse me, you've not picked me. Well, no, I don't think Sterling's the same player. So Chelsea have got to deal with that. They've got to deal with the gaslighting. Because it's gaslighting, that's what it is. It's just a guy who's unhappy he's playing, and he's so precious that he needs to make a statement about it and make out that he's more important than the others because he's not playing. They need to get those guys out. Sterling... It didn't make sense to me, the signing to start with, and I think it still doesn't make sense to me now. So I think it'll be best for all parties if he does leave. But Chelsea will have to get him out. Who is going to be paying Sterling them kind of wages? But that's for another video. This is about Felix, and I think Felix is it's a good signing. He can play anywhere in the front, and he definitely improves Chelsea. So I think it's a good signing.